Okay, 10 minutes to go. Here is another game review. It's going to be a quick one, hopefully. I know I call these 10 minutes to go 10-minute reviews, but I tend to ramble on just because the game gets interesting and interesting points emerge, but nonetheless. This is played between two of my students, Gonthas and Ben. They're pretty close to rivals. Like if you've ever encountered Hikaru no Go, they're like Hikaru and Akira. They're pretty close. They have lots of regular fights and they're always exciting. There's not much difference. Ben's currently rated at 8Q and Gonthas at 9Q, but I think these two players are pretty even. Gonthas sent me the list and said, Ben beat me again, can you give me some pointers? So we're just going to go run through this game and see if we can see any points at which Black makes obvious errors or Ben makes particularly good moves. So let's take a look. So starting up the game, Black in the upper right, 3-4 by Black and a 4-4 by 3-4 by Gonthas and a 4-4 in the lower left by Ben. So two opposed 3-4s. There's a big gap in between those two stones, and by big gap we mean when you go down on the 3-4 there's a lot of space in between those two stones. White plays here and Black makes a Shimari. I think I've talked about the Shimari a little bit in my last video, and it's just worth noting for all of you DDK players that this Shimari, and we're talking about these two stones here when we talk about a Shimari, Shimari is the Japanese word for a corner enclosure. It has a facing, and this Shimari naturally wants to extend in this direction, and it's less comfortable extending in this direction because of it's lower on this direction and it's higher in this direction. Here it covers up to the 5th line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we're coming out on line 5 here. This side it only covers 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, so we're coming out on this line here, and that's what I mean by height and direction. So this Shimari has a direction that's aiming towards the left hand top side of the board, not the lower right hand side of the board. Let's see how the game develops. So White does the perfect move. So this is great by Ben. He's actually annihilating the potential of that Shimari. That's what's happened. And also that's a very beautiful move because it not only annihilates the potential of the Shimari, it extends from the 3-4 in the corner. This is a solid AI move by Gonthas in retaliation to 3-3 the 4-4 corner, and we get a Joseki emerges, and again Gonthas plays the perfect move. He's not being too precious about the points in the corner, but annihilating the potential of this white wall by getting in behind it early and not completing the Joseki. Really like that move. White folds, Black hanes, White protects. Black can get away with not making another move here. If you want to play secure here, then Black should probably play here. That secures all the points in the corner, but of course it gives away Sente, and Sente is pace. So Black does play in this area, ignores the corner, but makes the extra point to make 2 eyes out here, and so White approaches. So this is Ben approaching the 3-4 corner. There are lots of Josekis around this one. In this case, I would simply play the attached drawback Joseki, which Ben does, and Gonthas is quite comfortable with this. Was there another alternative? Yeah, the other alternative is the low space pincer Joseki, this one here, in this case would probably be better, slightly better for Black. But we can go over those in class sometime. So the attached drawback like this means that White makes a base, and now this Shimari that we've been talking about all through the game, its potential has been annihilated on the top side, and its potential is now annihilated on the right side as well. So this isn't good for Black. Having given away your first mover advantage right on move 3 of the game to make that Shimari, its potential has now been largely negated by White. And so this is a very nice play by Ben as White. And it's why I think this, the attached drawback, this Joseki in the lower right corner is slightly suspect in this position. Anyway, let's keep moving. So Gonthas quite rightly makes a base for this stone because that stone's looking weak. White solidifies territory. Gonthas makes a secure base. And that's an interesting sequence, isn't it? That's my cat mewling, and I'm going to ignore the cats. Okay, come on, Lisette. She might come and sit on my knee and mew. Lisette. Anyway, that's very nice by black because you've annihilated the potential of white's wall. So black got the points in the corner and white got nothing out of that exchange. So Ben protects his cutting point at e4 and Gonthas comes out. I might be tempted as black in here, if it was me, to play this one here because this is a forcing move and actually anchors your stones down. White will play this move here and then you simply come out and attach on this side or this side. Maybe this one to keep the pressure on. So don't underestimate the opportunities for forcing moves and the pace that they can give your moves. So let's go back to the game. Gonthas came out here. It's a little bit soft. It's not doing anything. White can cheerfully ignore that, and indeed white does ignore it. So when we're playing these kind of defensive moves that aren't sente, we have to know that we're giving sente away. And now we can see that black Shimari in the upper right that we've talked about throughout the whole game now, he's now become very powerless. It might capture 15 or so points in the corner, but compared to the potential, let's look at the game. What have we got here? White in the upper right, if it gets all of this, has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 25 points down there, 5 points here, and another 15, 4, so 30, 45 points. Black has got on the lower side here, this is undecided, 20 points here, 5 points, 25, another 15, 30, 40, and maybe 15, 45. The game's pretty even at the moment. It's pretty even. Looking at the board, I think that I prefer black because black has potential here and black has huge potential on the lower side. And white's not going to get anything out of these. These stones are invested for no points, and white's got points here and here. Obviously the big move for black now after white's attack, it's almost the most urgent move on the board, is this one, which shatters the potential of the upper side. We'll see what happens. And Gonthas decides to develop. I'm not sure about this move because yes, of course it develops the potential of the side, but it enables black to play something like this and consolidate those points. And white comes in. So this is Ben coming in. Oh, and this is where I think that Gonthas, that you made the first real mistake. You go for protecting the territory, and we have to say, listen, these two stones are super strong. They're a 3-4, 5-3 Shimari in the corner. White cannot live inside that corner. White cannot live inside here. So these are solid. This is an anvil against which you can hammer that black stone. So rather than, as you did in the game, grovelling under to protect the territory, what you should simply do is jump out. And now I hope you can see that this white stone is now super weak. Ben's played a stone. It's now under attack, and he's either got to give it up immediately or run. And the only running spot is here. But now black can put this stone under attack, and white's now got to deal with this weak stone and this weak stone. We say, well, this one is also weak, the 3 stone, and that's true enough, but actually there are lots of maneuvers there. So I think one of the things that I constantly try and explain to you guys is that we get confused when we're beginning at Go and when we're double digit all the way up to you know, I'm 5 or 6Q. Go is not about territory. Go is about the interactions of strong and weak groups of stones, and as a result of those interactions, one player gains or loses more territory than the other. Territory is simply a way of keeping score of what happens with the dynamics of those groups of stones. So let's have a look back at the game. So this is where we were. Gonthas played underneath, white harnade, black cut, white harnade, and now this is dangerous for black. So black cuts in this way. I think this is the mistake because now white can come out, and this is indeed what Ben does. So this is the first mistake. So that white is now all connected. all of these white stones are connected through the death of the black one, which means that these two black stones are on this side are now super weak and vulnerable, and the corner's also looking vulnerable. So what move should have been played here? After this one, the move for black is here. This is Joseki. So after white here, black, Atari, white, black. If white starts to wriggle, then you confine white to the second line and start to build a wall. So if white comes here, first you Atari this side, take, then you Atari this side. White has to play here to make the second eye, in which case you protect out. And so white's now got to deal with the problem around the 9 stone, and black's got this thick wall anchored in the corner that's starting to overshadow the centre. So this will be a much better outcome for black than the outcome we saw in the game. And it all comes down to this wrong Atari. And white coming out, and black Ataris, white takes. So the 3 stones on the left are still, so this is the right move by black, but I'm still concerned about white's loss of potential, black's loss of potential in the upper right. So white harness, push, it's a bit eager. I think there's nothing wrong with the cut for black here. If white's got to protect here, because if white protects here, black simply takes the stone. So after the cut, white Ataris, black sacrifices. You know, at some point white's going to have to take that stone because of this. Take, Atari. And now this wedge has been built in white's position. Let's keep with the game. So white, black, white. Yeah, I think I'd have preferred the cut and Atari there. White solidifies the corner, so it's bed solidifying the corner. L16 would seem the move, yes indeed. Then white starts to attack the corner. Black makes shape in the corner. I hope that's going to work. Black is pretty effectively shut in. You have to say this white invasion has been pretty sublime by cutting black back into 2 groups. The 2 black groups have now still got to survive on their own. Black defends the points in the corner and white makes a territorial move. I think that's the exchange that may have lost you the game, but let's see where we get to. You make territory on this side, but I think the more urgent, the black group on the left is alive, the more urgent one is this one. And notice that white cannot Hane now, because where does he go? If he goes here, he's got to go back and fix. White's on a terrible hiding to nowhere here, and white's dead. So rather than the move you played, the biggest area of the board right now is here. This is a huge territorial point. It puts this group back under attack and short of eyes, because notice that this move is still available to take the eye out in the corner. Much more powerful move. This one, of course, you play this one, which is worth a few points, but it's not an attacking move. Lets whites completely solve all of the problems in that area and build shape. Here, here, here. So this territory of whites on this side is now becoming a very big box, and let's count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 45-point box. That's a game-winning set of points by Ben. Black pushes out here, but this is not making points. White consolidates its shape. Again, white's adding points here by these moves. Black's not adding points by these moves. White's still consolidating that shape on the left, that 45-point box. So let's just have a look. Black in this corner has got 10 points. Black here has got 5, that's 15. Black here has got another 5, that's 20. And black here has got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 40 points. And maybe 10 here, 50 points. But white in this corner has got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18, 20 points. And here, as we've said, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 now. 50 points. White's ahead. And the white is ahead because this move, when we're talking about this area of the board, that was the vital area of the board, not that move. Okay, so Gonthas Ataris is single stone. Ben, I have to say this is a stupid move. Sorry, mate, but is that? Let's ask the question: is that white stone doing any work at all? Any useful work? Do you need to save and protect it, or can you give it up lightly? You can. Clearly the answer's there. Black's alive. There's nothing you can do about this black group around JKL18. Just give the stone up and take the Sente move. So, you know, the Sente move is either banking the points here and ensuring that this box that we keep talking about, this is your game-winning box, is as secure and solid as it possibly can, but give up on this stone. In the event you saved it and black starts to damage and penetrate the potential of this box and reduce it. So that was a bit of a sloppy move by Ben. Good move by Gonthas. You tricked your opponent into making a move they didn't need to do. It's not how we like to play Go, but sometimes it works. So where's the big point for white now? So white, I think in my mind, white needs to play somewhere around here to protect that box. So white decides to do a big, deep invasion. And this is the second point at which I believe Gonthas lost the game, because he makes an elephant eye. And it's an elephant eye because of the gap, the distance between these two stones. And I think the move that should have been played here by black is simply the ceiling move, because this doesn't go anywhere for white. If white can cut, black can do this. You know, white can do this. This is not working. White stones are dying. There's not a lot white can do here. White, black, white, black, and black kills the white stones inside in that way. That's what I think should have happened. Some sequence like that. I didn't go through that in detail, but that's the kind of sequence. So the elephant eye is a mistake, because now white has two directions, either this direction or this direction, and white has friendly stones in both directions to get out, and in doing so will wreck your points, which means black is then left with 10 points here, 5, 15 here, 20 here, 20 here, 40, and probably at best 5 points in this area now, between 5 and 10, so 50 points on the board. Meanwhile, white has got 20 here and another 40 here, 60, and another 10 here, 70. White's clearly ahead. So black takes the mistake from the elephant eye. I think the next move by Ben is a bit peculiar, but it does work in the event. I think the simple move here is simply this one. If black blocks, white cuts, threatening to eat the F13 stone. If black protects, white can eat this stone in a ladder. If black Ataris, white descends, and now this stone is dead, and the cut here is still viable. I think it's fairly straightforward. What Ben does is attach here, which at first I thought was a bit suspect, but it doesn't give black many choices. Black backs off. I think, where are the points here? The points are in this sort of area, so that's what you need to be protecting. The outside is fine, and you're just going to let white erase your inside. So here's the points disappearing off the board for black. Yeah, and now they've gone. So white has enlarged the corner and reduced black down to very few points. This is almost so black makes a heroic attempt to get back. This is going to be a tough fight. If you get away with this, I'll be impressed. But white descends, black goes for the corner, white threatens to cut, black blocks. I think that's a bit loose. Black can turn. white comes down, black comes down, and white kills the shape. Yeah, I think that's right. Black. So white has not only reduced black, but consolidated the corner with prisoners. Black makes a very late attempt now to reduce white's space. I think that's solid. It's just me, but I would prefer this one, and then white, black, white. This kind of keep it solid. Don't. I think that's okay because black keeps coming and reduces again and again, but the reduction's not really working, and now white starts to really damage black shape. Yeah, eats that stone, eats the whole 3 stones. That's awful for white, because now what was initially, we were counting this corner at 20, but let's read it out now. We've now got a corner here. So this was originally 20 here, but it's now 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 35, or even 40 points. It's a good 35. It's added 15 points with prisoners, despite the fact that Ben's had to play some stones here. That's not going to work. Nah, none of that works. And now white's, that can't work. Black, white, black, white. Yeah, consolidating. Honey, this is now all endgaming. That's endgame. Again, I'd say to Gonthas, is there a bigger endgame point here than this one? I guess so. I think it's a centre of sorts. The wedge is blocked. I still kind of like this move. White will have to answer here. Black answers here. Maybe there's no difference. Here we go. Finish off. Black kills white. Yeah, and white gets those points on that point. Black's going to live there. Live there. And this is just sealing the edges, nothing major. And that's just not pushes and blocks and cuts and little cobra doesn't mean anything. Actually, black got a decent amount of points here, more than I thought. Black did okay here. Actually, we've just gone back. Why did black live in the upper left corner? Let me see what happened here. I wasn't paying attention. Black really shouldn't have lived in that upper left corner. Okay, after that one, black there. Oh, white ignored. No. Yeah, that one. Yeah, it was this move. It was this move. This was poor by white. If after that one, Ben simply needed to connect here, and then the corner's all dead. So the score was big at that point. I think that was poor play by white, because that wedge and the Atari now connects black out, which means the points in the corner have gone and white's gone back to its original corner shape. So that's a nice play by black. That's fairly hopeless. That can't work, Ben, because Ben's trying to get compensation for the lost corner, but black kills it. Then we have these moves. Make sure I don't miss anything this time. Yeah, so that's made it closer. The survival of the black group in the upper left has made it closer than it was. And we'll see what the final score was. All of these endgame moves. Done. Let's go. Are we? Pass. Okay, what's the score estimate at that? Estimate score. White by 11, and that includes Comey, so white won. But I think that, back to the review, we have to say that black was very lucky to get that out, and that took 20 points off white. White should have played that. But there were two other areas of the game where I think black lost. One is that here, letting white break out and not attacking much more aggressively from the outside, and this play here with the elephant eye were the two mistakes worth noting. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I know that's more than 10 minutes, but that was an exciting game. There were some good learning points there, and if you like the way I explain, if you like the way I teach, please consider liking, subscribing. Come and join us on 10 Minutes to Go. We are always happy to have new people come into our learning community. Anyway, that will do for now. See you soon. Bye.